Welcome to the Windows and Computer channel, and this is another look at Windows market share, but differently. We'll look at it by continent. Basically, we'll look at a few places, Asia, North America, Europe, and South America. What does it look like? What are the differences? Do we see big differences in how Windows 10 and Windows 7 are in market share? So first of all, this is South America. So South America, at the end of, for the month of November, ends at 65.7% in Windows 10 market share, which is 1% higher actually than the global lookout. So they seem to be a little bit more in advance, which is interesting. And part of it is surprising to me because often, countries that aren't as advanced technically, although South America is advanced, but I mean, it's not North America or Europe in general. Makes it kind of interesting to see that we have the market share of Windows 10 so high. It's one of those places where I would have thought Windows 7 actually would have hung more to existing older computers because well, I don't know. It's maybe I have a wrong vision of South America, but kind of interesting. Now, the other market share that we can check. So here, 65.7, 27.2. If we look in Asia, that doesn't surprise me. 58.4 on Windows 10, but still 33.8% on Windows 7. I am not at all surprised that Windows 10 doesn't catch on as fast in Asia. That was to be expected personally. But interesting to see that these numbers fluctuate like that. So, less Windows adoption in Windows 7. If we look at the market share for North America, Windows 10 is at 72% and Windows 7, 21%. Actually, if you look at how fast it's growing, the 68.7 to 72, the speed at which the adoption of Windows 10 is going in North America is pretty tremendous. 66.9 to 67.8 is close to 1%. 68.7. It's interesting because look at that really, really big high here. 68.74 to 72. There was a 4% uptick just in November. And maybe it has to do a lot with the fact that we're, a lot of companies, a lot of businesses are kind of going a little nuts over the fact that Windows 7 is actually end of support is coming. Windows 7 also at 20.97% or 21% is of course lower. This one is demise of 22.5 to 21. There's a 1.5% drop. Meaning that in January, if that pace would continue, it would be a 3% drop from here for December and January added together. That means it would be at 18%. Kind of interesting. And finally, what does it look like in Europe? Europe is at 68.07. Pretty good lead on Windows 10 also. 23.5 for Windows 7. So Windows 10, of course, 4% higher than the average, the world average. Actually, what we see here is that world average is being brought down a little bit by Asia. That is at 58.4. So it's kind of interesting. The global, market share is so much different. So worldwide, it's 64. And let's look at Africa, just out of curiosity. What does Africa look like? 48.3% of Windows 10, and look at that, 40% in Windows 7 in Africa. That means, we're not that far from, 1 out of 2 computers running Windows 7 in Africa. That also is not surprising to me. They typically will probably change their computers less often and update less often than more advanced countries technologically. So kind of interesting when we look at the different market share around the world. Really, really nice to see all the differences here. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thanks for watching.